Okay, it's not wanting to go onto Instagram. Okay, but that's okay. We've got public on Facebook now, so that's exciting.
Okay, hi
Oh,
Facebook.
wait, there it is. There it is. It just popped up. Everything is just running
Are we
really
live on Facebook?
slow. We're live on Facebook, and we
Which
are
Facebook? Your Facebook page?
yes.
Okay.
And we're live on Instagram too. So
Okay.
yay. Okay, well, welcome back to our Truth Be Told podcast, if we're going with that.
Where are we going to be in an hour, Monique? Or 2 hours?
In an hour, we're going to be at the Light Lounge in Evergreen with David and his team. We're talking about red light therapy and our biomimetic mineral mist. And so if you are in Colorado and you're close by, please join us from 5 to 7. I just made a post with the registration link if you want to sign up on Instagram. But it's the Light Lounge in Evergreen. We would love to see you there. Ben and I are going to be there in person with David and some of our partners and some of the Light Lounge's clients. So we're so excited. But today, and we're going to try to keep it short because we are going straight to this event right after this video. So today, we are talking about, I had noticed a lot of aesthetic professionals nowadays are seeking advice from online forums, such as Facebook groups, which is a really common practice. And so there's a lot of good ones out there, and it can be a great source of connection and support, but it can also sometimes feel like the blind leading the blind. When we read through some of these comments, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that would be such a good idea, or I really like that idea. And so I thought it would be such a great idea to put these images in front of Ben so he can clarify some of what might actually be happening with the skin in these certain scenarios. And more importantly, how we as professionals can support our clients with truth-based, results-driven care. So I'm going to pull up this image.
Ooh, that's got to be an unhappy gal. The thing about that is so easy to treat. She could be a new woman in 30 days. And she can start to be a new woman much even quicker, like almost right away. That is a classic. That's not a skin problem. It should, that's one thing about skin is that just because you see it on the skin doesn't mean it's a skin issue. You can tell that's not a skin issue, number one, by how diffuse the breakouts are. If it was just a skin issue, it would be much more local. Are you there? Do I hear Monique? I see a picture. Monique?
Yeah, my image is here, but as soon as I take my camera, it shuts me off. This is actually a teenage boy. So this is somebody who he's 16 years old. They've talked about diet. This esthetician made some recommendations, but they wanted to go see an esthetician before they went to a dermatologist.
There's nothing a dermatologist can do. This is not a dermatological issue. One of the things we misunderstand dermatology. This is an immune condition, not a skin condition. It's a sign that the skin, that the body's defenses have been alerted. And you say, what is going on? Like really, when you think about it, what exactly causes those things? Those are inflammatory lesions that are caused by little micro-inflammatory pockets in follicles, not on the skin, but in the follicles. You can't really see follicles. You can't see pores even. They're microscopic. But the pore is like an opening to a follicle. And follicles develop immune reactions following disturbances that are caused by toxicity that enters into those follicles from the blood. Maybe in this case, possibly even in the dermis, actually likely in the dermis. So you're dealing with an immune activation issue. Now, how does the immune activation issues are almost always blood related. Sometimes you'll get a topical immune activation issue like to gluten or to nickel or latex. But for the most part, immune reactions are blood-borne. They come in from the blood. And we don't think that because you look at the skin and say, where's the blood, right? So it's counterintuitive. You don't see blood there. So you say, okay, well, it looks like a skin problem. I'm going to scrub it off. I'm going to put a cream on it. Or I'm going to go get a pill, an antibiotic or something like that. That's not what's happening. What's happening is you've got a blood toxicity issue. And this is important for several reasons. Number one, if you have a blood toxicity issue, it can lead to all kinds of things down the road if you don't correct it. So while you may be able to do something with peels or laser to kind of make it look a little bit better, you still got the blood problem. Now you're heading towards metabolic syndrome. Now you're heading towards autoimmune diseases. Now you're heading towards, God forbid, cancer down the road.
Right.
So, and if it's a lady, you've got menstrual and reproductive issues on top of that. So you haven't corrected that with your topical strategies. So number one, if it's a bloodborne issue and you don't address it, you miss an opportunity to head off the disease monster months, years down the road. That's number one. Number two, it's a bloodborne issue and you don't address it, you're not going to take care of it at the cause. You may possibly, in this case, very unlikely, be able to improve the appearance through lasers and peels, et cetera, but you're not going to take care of the problem.
Right.
An esthetician should not be satisfied with just changing the appearance. A modern esthetician should be able to change the problem. Dermatologist uses drugs and surgical procedures. They don't have the tools to do this. So then the third question to ask is, how does stuff get in the blood?
Yeah.
If it's a blood-borne toxicity issue or immune reaction, it's blood secondary to something in the blood, the logical question is, how do things get in the blood? Well, things can get into the blood through injection. Mm-hmm. That's possible. Okay, but for the most part, that's not what's happening. These days, there's a lot of literature, not these days, but over the last 15, 20 years, we're starting to notice that things can get into the blood through the mouth. And there's a lot of research that shows that you get a heart disease and pericarditis and circulatory diseases from cuts in the mouth or from surgical procedures in the mouth where mouth bacteria get into the blood. But that's probably not what's happening here. What's more than likely happening, because he's a teenager, he's a boy, he's probably not watching what he eats. He probably doesn't understand the relationship. And while some people may have mentioned it, there's lots of reasons for eating behaviors that aren't about eating. In other words, we don't only eat because we're hungry.
Right.
We eat because things are delicious. Mm-hmm. We eat because we're bored. We eat because things are readily available. We eat because everybody else is eating.
Yeah.
So it's almost impossible to change eating behavior unless you're seriously motivated. But for him, he could be seriously motivated. So if he probably knows, if this was my patient, I'd say, hey, do you notice that you got bloating? Do you notice you got gas? Do you notice that you're constipated or you have loose stools? Now, I say, do you notice? It's not that easy because people don't notice. Mm-hmm. If you had a digestive problem your whole life, it's normal to you. So people will say, yeah, I'm fine. I don't have a problem. You have to say, by their fruits, in the Bible it says, by their fruits you will know them. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So you can see there's a problem, a blood problem. So clearly he has a digestive issue. And if he says, no, I don't, you say, go home and watch it. Think about it. Notice it. And try to connect your digestive problems to specific foods and try to connect your breakouts to specific foods. In a way, the breakouts are really cool because they're an indicator that something's going on. And then you start patching up the gut and eliminating foods and doing all the digestive things. Now, there are also nutrients that are extremely important for the skin and whose deficiencies will lead to these kinds of problems. Zinc is a classic because zinc, number one, is used up by high sugar foods. The more refined carbohydrate foods you eat, the less zinc is going to be available for your skin.
Okay.
Zinc is a major skin vitamin. If you're not supplementing with zinc, you're just getting some dietary zinc through meat or from nuts or whatever you're getting your zinc from, eggs, it's very good chance you're going to run into zinc deficiency. So first thing, you got to get on zinc. And the second important nutrient for the skin, and deficiencies are also common in this nutrient, is vitamin A. And so vitamin A is also important. I'll be doing 20,000 IU of vitamin A and 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day. Now, if you use our blemish repair complex, we also put in a lot of other nutrients that can be very helpful for the skin, and that's what I would be doing for this gentleman. So number one, food diary, and then elimination of foods. You may also have to patch up a leaky gut. There's strategies for that as well. You may be dealing with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This is, you can't see this actually. This is called I-26. Let me see if I can make this. Let me see if I can show you this. Can you see this? I-26? You can't see it. It's called I-26, hyperimmune egg.
Okay,
You can contact us. This is for SIBO, kills off excess bacteria. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that helps with leaky gut issues. Vitamin A and then zinc. And then there's topical things that you could do. But they're not going to work unless you do everything else. But if you do everything else, you can speed up the healing of these blemishes and improve the skin texture with retinol, 5% retinol. I recommend ours. You can also use alpha hydroxy acids. You can have procedures done in the spa or salon setting. Jesner's peel might be effective for this gentleman because he looks like he's going to hyperpigment and Jesner's can help you with hyperpigmentation. But importantly, two things. First of all, your topical strategies are not going to be effective if you're not taking care of the internal causes. And
Right.
secondly, if you try to address this topically without addressing the internal causes, not only is it not going to work, but you could end up with a big red mess. And you've probably seen this. There are patients who end up with a big red mess because they're trying to scrub it away with benzoyl peroxide or Retin-A, or they'll have peels, but they're not addressing the cause. So without addressing the cause, number one, you're not going to be very effective with your topical strategies. And number two, you can make things worse. So you got to go into the causal level, which is the intestine and foods. And then you want to start using nutritional supplements like zinc and vitamin A. There's a bunch of others. NAC is probably going to be helpful. Selenium will probably be helpful. As I say, our blemish repair complex can work for this. And then along with those strategies, topically using retinol, alpha hydroxy acid peels, Jesner peels, even possibly laser can really improve, number one, the skin after the blemishes go down, because once the blemish goes down, this guy could have some scarring. So doing some topical strategies can mitigate or even eliminate the potential for scars. And then it can improve the production of new skin cells so the tissue becomes flatter and smoother in conjunction with your other therapies. Now, you can also use cleansers like a salicylic acid cleanser to keep the skin exfoliated, but without doing your internal food strategies and nutritional supplementation, you're just going to end up with a big red mess, as I said.
Right. And so the good news
is this is completely treatable and very quickly. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, when you're addressing, how do I ask this? Like if you're addressing internal care as an esthetician, right? Yeah. Like it's kind of out of our scope to recommend.
Not out of your scope. No, it's not out of your scope. That's not true. And I know they tell you that.
Right.
It's not fair because you're hanging up a sign that says, I'm going to take care of your skin. It's not fair to say, I'm going to take care of your skin and not do that. You can't say, oh, that's out of my scope, but I'm going to take care of your skin anyway. That's not fair.
Yeah.
And so it's out of your scope to tell people about their medicine. That's out of your scope. That's true.
Sure.
You should be interfering with medication. But as far as nutrition, heck yes, that's your scope. And then you say, I didn't learn that in esthetician school. That's why we're here.
Yes.
We're here to help you with that. Yes, I know you don't learn that in esthetician school, and that's a problem. There are some esthetician schools, in fairness, that are starting to understand this and they're starting to teach this. But you're right. Most estheticians, I don't know when you graduated a few years ago, you probably didn't learn any of this stuff.
No.
But it's not out of your scope.
Right.
It's smack dab in the middle of your scope because you're telling people you're going to help them. How are you going to help them if you don't understand the nutrition and the digestive component? And if they didn't teach you, come learn from us.
Absolutely. And it could really just start with studying what we have in the blemish repair complex, what we have
as simple as that.
In the collagen supplement, in the fulvic supplement,
or
just
studying SIBO.
Familiar.
Or studying SIBO, studying intestinal health. Because as I said, as an esthetician, you have an opportunity to save this kid from further health challenges down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, insulin and sugar are big problems too. They're not necessarily going to cause this kind of inflammation, but they can rev up the system. This is a very active system. This is a very active skin system. And so you want to calm things down, and that's where sugar and insulin come in, or reducing sugar and insulin. I remember I had a couple of years ago, I had my computer's messed up at work, and I had a kid come in, and he was going to fix my computer, because, kids can fix computers. I can't fix computers very well. And this kid was, I don't know, he was like a kid, maybe 18 or something, 17 or 18. And he's all broken out. His face is all broken out. And he was going to fix my computer. It took him, a few hours to fix my computer. He bought 3 dozen donuts with him, and he ate the 3 dozen donuts while he was working on my computer, and his face was just a big mess. And I didn't say anything to him, but I observed that this is what kids do. This is what kids are eating, and they're not told that there's a connection. And unfortunately, they're actually told the opposite. It has nothing to do with the donuts. It has nothing to do with the French fries.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of leaky gut, at this point in time, everybody knows about leaky gut. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when I started doing this, 30, 40 years ago, the conventional wisdom was, by doctors and dermatologists, by our opinion leaders, food has nothing to do with your skin.
That's what I learned in school. In
Literally,
2018, that's what was in the textbook, is that
food
food
has
and diet
nothing
nutrition. Yep.
nothing to do with it. Not a little to do with it. Not maybe mild. Nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you that if you have toxicity getting into the blood, there's a very good chance it's going to show up on the skin. And toxicity gets into the blood through a leaky gut. And
Right.
leaky gut can be caused by French fries,
Mhm.
by pizza, by any fried oils or cooked oils or processed oils, which are foods that we all love. Hush puppies and
Teens'
fried
favorites.
okra. What's
Yeah.
that?
And teenagers' favorites, because it's
Teenager
so easy
favorite.
and fast,
Yes.
especially college students, who are on the go and they don't have a
Yes.
lot of money. They're like,
Yes.
just
Yes.
yeah.
So to say the food has nothing to do with your skin just flies in the face of logical biochemistry via SIBO and leaky gut and immune reactions, allergic reactions, and intolerances. And not to mention, once your gut is inflamed, you're not going to be absorbing your vitamins and your minerals. So now you have this 1-2 punch of toxicity plus malnutrition. And you
Right.
can't help but have some kind of symptoms. So what's beautiful, with the good news and the bad news is you can do great things. This guy can reverse this condition right away. He can begin the reversal process today. He can be a completely new man in 30 days, 30 to 60 days. This could
You
be
know,
completely gone.
I'm
And
curious.
one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you do this right, you're going to save him from cancer down the road, or autoimmunity down the road, or neurological issues down the road, or any kind of diabetes down the road. There's all kinds of health challenges that you can kind of cut the head off a snake by correcting the problem at the cause. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's great. And it's amazing that we have the ability to be able to do that for our clients. Like it's like they're
Yes,
coming to us for skin and getting
yes,
so much more value
yes,
out of that
yes,
experience, which again is great for retention, is great for business, is great for relationships. But why is it that some teenagers, and I was one of them, who I ate terribly, barely slept, workaholic, I did so many horrible things to my body and never had a pimple. So how is it that some people will
What else
break
did you
out
have?
have
Did
this
you have
hard
anything else? Did you have menstrual issues or reproductive issues
I did.
or okay, so
Yeah.
yours showed up in other ways. Yours showed up in other
Okay.
ways. So
Okay.
so there
So
you go.
it manifests
You were
different.
lucky it wasn't on your skin. Nobody got to see it, but every once a month you felt it. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and then after I had my daughter, I developed acne that looked a lot like this. So hormonally, especially in teenagers, whether it's a teenage boy or a teenage girl, what can they do about that? Like, is
well,
any of this what you see possibly hormonal as well?
everything is hormonal.
Okay.
This me wiggling my finger is hormonal. Me talking to you is hormonal. Everything is hormonal. Everything is controlled by hormones. The word hormone means, in Latin or Greek actually, hormeo, I arouse to activity.
Mhm.
Hormones are the chemicals that initiate activities in the body. So everything's hormonal. When you say, is it hormonal? What most people mean is it related to my reproductive hormones? That's what most
Yes.
people think of when they think of hormones. And
Yes.
yes, zinc is involved in how testosterone is processed. Testosterone gets converted into something called DH testosterone. And DH testosterone is like super testosterone. Testosterone revs things up. Remember I was saying how this is a condition where things are revved up.
Mhm.
Testosterone is a rev like insulin. There's a lot of overlap between testosterone and insulin. Revs things up, makes things move really fast. Under conditions of nutritional deficiency, testosterone gets turned into super testosterone. Super
Okay.
testosterone is DHT. You may have heard that term, DHT.
Mhm.
DHT is one of the bad guys when it comes to cell division, cells dividing very rapidly, whether it's in the skin or whether it's in the prostate. DHT is associated with prostate issues. DHT is associated with male pattern baldness. So zinc is a major DHT inhibitor. And so by using zinc, you can keep testosterone from being turned into DHT. Not so much for this condition because this is more immune.
Okay.
That's more important for what we call androgenic acne. Androgenic acne is acne that's related to male hormones. And that's oily skin and T-zone breakouts. And
Okay.
breakouts that are not that deep. And breakouts that are not that spread out and rashy.
Okay.
That's a rashy type of breakout. That's a macular breakout where you have like lots of kind of pockets of inflammation and rashiness.
Mhm.
Androgenic acne is more papular. It's more localized, little pimples and whiteheads, and it tends to be T-zone. That's more related to male hormones.
That's so
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, and that's all. You can tell that you have a food condition if you're dealing with non-sebaceous breakouts. But there's not a lot, you can see there's not a lot of sebaceous activity here,
Right. It kind of looks, yeah, even a
right?
little dry
It's
and
not,
irritated
this is
here.
not a sebaceous clogged pore issue. This is inflammation secondary to immune activation. And that's good. That's easy. That's the easiest kind of acne to reverse. You know, and these are patients, by the way, that if they don't correct the problem, they'll get acne on the shoulders or on the back or all the way down to their butt sometimes. And that's all, or sometimes in the chest area right
Yes.
here. All of that is signs that the lymphatic system started to become involved. And so that's where this is going if he's not corrected. And I've seen patients who have it like literally covered their back. And that's when you don't correct the problem early. He doesn't look, I can't see the whole face obviously here, but this
Yeah.
looks like it's not, you know, it's not at a later stage, although it is somewhat significant. There's still some clear spots. You can see how beautiful his cheek is right there.
Right. Yeah.
Nice looking cheek. So you can see he has kind of good skin. Ironically, that's kind of good skin. But the lesions are signs that the immune system is activated. There's nothing a dermatologist can do here because it's an immune problem. So he needs to go to, if he's going to go to a doctor, which I wouldn't suggest, but if he is, go to an immunologist or a GI specialist. But really, an esthetician should be able to handle this without medicine.
Okay, great. And so what are, the effects of the AHA and how can
AHA
that
will support exfoliation. It'll get rid of some of those cells. If you use some of those dead cells, if you use the salicylic, that has anti-inflammatory properties. That'll reduce some inflammation. And the real concern is here he might hyperpigment, and so AHAs can reduce the likelihood of hyperpigmenting. Retinol is really the topical of choice here, though.
Okay. And you said a 5%. Would you really start him on a 5%?
I'd want him calm down a little bit. Once
Yeah.
his skin is calmed down, I would start him off. I would use 5%. But his skin, the skin looks really active here. You don't want the skin to be active when you put more active ingredients on the skin.
Right.
So if you have skin that's active, you want to kind of calm it down before you use retinol. I might use Xeno on there to help calm the skin down.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like my gut instinct with acne that's super inflamed like this is to go in with the peppermint cleanser, the biomist, and the Sebum morning and night.
The biomist and the Sebum. And the Sebum, people will say, oh, well, it's too heavy. I don't want to use Sebum. If you use just the right amount, mix it with the mist, it's not too heavy, and the skin will love the vitamin C.
So about how long might you do that regimen before you introduce the retinol?
There's no time. It's when the skin calms down.
Okay.
It's when the skin's calm. It shouldn't take more than a couple of days if he does everything right. If he were to fast, take a day or two off, which is unlikely that he would do it, but theoretically, if he did do it, he would notice a significant improvement in his skin in 2 days, just by fasting.
Yeah. That's
so
hard to do.
It's almost impossible.
I know, it's so hard. I just saw a video of a guy who was like on day 37, no food and just water. I wish I knew his name. I'll have to find the video. But for Apophagy, is it Apophagy?
I don't know who that is, but it gets easier over time. So if day 37 actually is easier than the first couple of days because it gets easier. You don't feel like eating. Even after 1 day, you're not going to feel like eating. But after 2 days, it's 2 or 3 days, it's much easier. It's the first couple of days that becomes hard. Also, you become ketogenic after a couple of days. Your body starts generating ketones, so you have energy, and they're natural anti-appetite suppressants. They're natural appetite suppressants. So after a few days, it actually becomes easier. It's the first day or two that's the hard part.
It's rough. I've tried. I think the longest I've ever done a full fast was like 3 days.
Yeah, that's good.
It's so hard. So for the chemical peels, why would you recommend a Jesner over?
Because Jesner's has the resorcinol and the salicylic, and they're anti-inflammatory. Salicylic is anti-inflammatory. The resorcinol will help him with hyperpigmentation. And this it looks like he might hyperpigment.
Yeah, and it looks like there might be even a little bit of scarring
already,
like the ice pick scarring.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And Jesner's will help with that.
Yep, with the scarring as well.
Yeah. Yes.
And the preventative. Well, this is great.
We're going to do another one.
I'm excited to do more. I have so many other pictures of.
We should send this to. We should send this to wherever you got it from. We should post this video.
I am going to. I
Go right
definitely
ahead.
will. This is such a good conversation, and I'm really excited to do more of this. If anybody who is watching this, I mean, whether you're live or you're watching this in the future, and you have pictures, whether it's yourself personally, clients, friends, family, and you would like to know what's going on, please send them to me in my email or in a DM or a message on social media. My email is monique@truthtreatmentsystems.com. We would love to feature real world examples that are going to just help our aesthetic community grow. And if you found this helpful, please share videos like this that we do with this podcast with your other fellow professionals, friends, family, anybody who can benefit. And until next time, I guess just keep learning, question everything, and
Question everything.
seek the
That's good
truth.
advice. All right, Monique. See you now.